Port Olisar is located in the trade lanes above planet Crusader. It offers breathtaking views of the planet below. Owned and operated by Crusader Industries, Port Olisar acts as a gateway to the company's vast planetary holdings and orbital shipyards. The station offers accommodations to everyone from visiting executives to pilots traveling through the system. Port Olisar also features parking options for larger ships with complementary shuttles to the surface below. Olisar's habitable area consists of 4 identical struts, A through D, each of which has 11 landing pads 00 through 10. Port Olisar is probably going to be the most recognizable location of all to Star Citizen backers. This is the first place you will see when you log into the persistent universe for the first time. It is also the center of the universe in Alpha 3.0. Here is where most players will spawn their ships and where we sell our commodities from cargo runs. It is also the finishing point for many of the investigate and fetch missions, however buggy they may be. So being familiar with Olisar is important in the context of the current alpha phase in Star Citizen, because the next set of locations are only scheduled for Alpha 3.3 in Q3 this year. So make yourself at home here in Port Olisar with me, GTDae, the average Joe gamer, as we explore Port Olisar, the starting point of your adventures in Star Citizen Alpha 3.0. When jumping into the persistent universe for the first time, you wake up in an easy hab bunk. This is a cramped little area with a single bed, a locker, a small desk, and little bits and bobs that your player character left lying around. There's not much use in hanging around in the bunk, because the only other thing you can do in here is use the bed to log out again. When you leave the bunk, you're at the top level of Port Olisar. Up here there's not much to see apart from a couple of Big Bennies and Pips vending machines, an empty area for lease, and a vitamin D screen. There are also bathrooms and a lounge area. None of these areas are functional for anything other than maybe some roleplay if you're so inclined. Head downstairs to the ground floor. This is where everything happens. On this level, you will find shops to buy everything from civilian clothing, to flight suits and armor, to guns and ammo, to components to outfit your ships. All the shops are laid out around the ship deck. This is where you will find your ship retrieval consoles underneath a holographic representation of Crusader and its moons. Adjacent to the ship deck, you can also find the admin desk, where you will hand in delivery missions as well as accessing the trading consoles for buying and selling commodities. Now, let's have a look at the shops that you will find around Port Olisar and what they sell, starting with Kasaba, the brand name clothing store in the PU. The Kasaba outlet is where you can buy your mainstream fashionable civilian clothing. It has all you would expect from a clothing store, various styles of shoes, some options of trousers, jackets, shirts and sweaters, as well as some headgear. Across the viewing deck from Kasaba, we find Dumper's Depot, the ship parts store. Here you can buy basic equipment like coolers, power plants and shield generators. As of Alpha 3.0, there's no option to buy weapons for your ships in-game yet. Let's hope that option is added very soon. Towards the other side of the ship deck, we find GTDae. This is the armor shop. Here you will find a variety of undersuit and a few options for armor from Black Defense and RSI. Across the way we find live fire weapons. Here you will find your guns, ammo and other utilities. The stock on the gun racks are somewhat limited, with a couple of sidearm variants, 2 different SMGs with different skins, an energy rifle and shotgun. At the counter you can find ammo for pretty much every gun in the game, even though they're not all sold here. There are also frag grenades and your med pens and oxy pens. Unfortunately you can't draw your weapons to test them, because Port Olisar is an armistice zone. So that does it for your shops here at Port Olisar. Next let's check out the exits and where they lead. The habitable area on each strut has 4 exits that lead to the landing pads that surround these buildings. The first exit is next to the live fire weapons shop and leads to landing pads 00 to 4. The exit that leads to landing pad 5 to 8 are on the opposite end of the building next to GTDae. On the other 2 corners of the building we find the exits to landing pads 9 and 10, next to Dumper's Depot and Kasaba respectively. These exits are not locked to just the landing pads they lead to, because you can use the walkways to reach any landing pad around the building. Now that we're outside, let's take a quick look at the landing pads and how they're laid out around the habitable areas. As we mentioned in the intro, each strut of Port Olisar has 11 landing pads. Landing pad 00 is the biggest to support your larger ships like the Caterpillar and the Starfarer. Landing pads 1 through 8 are for small to regular sized ships like Noxes, Avengers, Freelancers, and Cutlasses, while landing pads 9 and 10 are for your slightly bigger ships like Constellations and Retaliators. While we are out here, let's have a look at the station as a whole. Now we can see that Port Olisar has 4 identical struts, A through D. When you play with your friends, it's useful to know which strut you are on. It is likely that while playing on the same server, each player might spawn on different struts of the station. There are numerous little clues all over that shows you where you are. From up here we can see the strut is marked on the roof of the habitation areas. The landing pad markers and navigational signs you find inside the building and on the walkways outside is also marked to show which strut you are on. So now that we have explored Port Olisar inside and out, it's time to go into the PU. In future videos, I'll be exploring the other 2 hero locations in 3.0, Grimhex and Levski, so keep an eye on the channel for that. CIG is planning to release the Hurston planet and its hero location Lorville in 3.3 later this year, and I am quite excited to see that. So in the comments below, let me know which upcoming locations you are most excited to see. Thank you for exploring Port Olisar with me. I've been GTDae, the Average Joe Gamer, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up below. In the description below, you'll find links to my social media pages. Follow me there for more news and content. Thanks for watching, stay awesome, watch your 6, and I'll see you in the next one.